Good morning. Good morning. Peace and blessings to everyone. Welcome to my live. Just coming on here just to drop some knowledge, drop some nuggets, drop some game. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers. It's been a year, and I can't believe how fast this year is really going by. Like it's things are just moving super fast, and it's like we're almost midway through 2025. But I realized something that, one thing that stays constant is change. Like things are always gonna constantly change, but you have to know how to adapt. You have to know how to adjust. You have to know how to continually recreate and evolve in the current situation. Like you have to, like you can't allow what's going on around you in the world, in society where you are. You can't allow that to hinder you. You know what I'm saying? You can't allow that to impact how you dream and how you move, you know what I'm saying, and how you set your vision and how you set your tone, and I'm realizing that it's a lot about perspective. You have to have the right perspective and mindset. If you don't have the right perspective and mindset, you're gonna be intimidated by things. You're gonna be defeated. You're gonna feel overwhelmed. You're gonna feel like you're less than, like you can't do it. But I realized something that you got to step outside of that box. You got to keep pushing. And, that's why I talk about certain things on the journey, like, dealing with narcissism and narcissistic abuse, because I realized like these things really, what I'm saying, they really took a toll on my life. Like I wasted so many years not realizing and understanding who I am. And that's the thing right there. Like, do you know and understand who you really are and the capabilities that you really have? Have you fully unlocked your potential? And I think a lot of times some of us we're operating in a downgraded percentage of what we should be and how we should be moving, because we haven't done the work. We haven't identified the things that hinder us. We haven't identified the traumas and the pain and the spiritual things, the psychological things that have adversely impact us. Like we haven't took time to jump into those things, and we don't realize it, but those things are taking a toll on us, because we're just going through life. We're just going through our journey, not realizing like something has power over us. Hello on TikTok, hello on YouTube. But yeah, something has taken power over us, and we don't even realize it. But we've surrendered to something. We've surrendered power to something, and you may not even realize it. Sometimes you surrender power to that man. You surrender power to that woman. You surrender power to that drug. You surrender power to that habit, and you don't even realize. And that's when the trouble starts, when you surrender your power to it. And just like me, just in hindsight, reflecting on my journey, God bless you. Hello on TikTok, hello on YouTube. But yeah, like I had to realize something, you know what I'm saying? Like I surrendered myself I gave myself away to somebody, you know what I'm saying? I gave my heart to somebody, and I didn't do the homework. I didn't do the work, and it led to a long journey of pain and suffering. And that's just the honest truth. And why did it happen? Because I gave them the power. And sometimes we give things and we give people the power. And listen, if I was whole, if I was healed, I would have never gave them that power. So the problem started is when I surrendered that power to that person. And I surrendered that power because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who they were. I didn't have an idea really of what love looked like. I didn't have an idea of what a true relationship looked like. I only knew and had perspectives and mindsets of what transactional connections and relationships look like. And that was my downfall. God bless you. God bless you. I'm cool. Welcome to my live. Just talking about my journey, some of the things that I went through, just trying to give people tools and nuggets and helping people become awake. You know what I'm saying? Awoken. Because if you're not awoken to this stuff, like you'll be sleep to it. You'll be completely oblivious to it. And as a matter of fact, it'll even take you into a place where you'll think that you're the symptom of a lot of things, and really at the root of it, yeah, you are the problem, but not in a sense that, okay, it's something wrong with you. No, it's something wrong with the way that you move. And see, and that's why I talk about things like this in narcissism, because for the longest I thought there was something wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with the strategy. That's really what it is. Is something wrong with the strategy. But yeah, man, I'm just talking about my journey, man, and some of the things that I've dealt with, on the journey. Talking about some of these things, because we need to be aware. You need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen people stuck in cycles of abuse and abusive relationships. And guess what? Like all relationships, because they're not physically abusive, don't mean that they're abusive. Like just because there's not the presence of physical abuse, that don't mean there's not abuse there. And listen, nobody need to be subjected to abuse, because like abuse causes psychological trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like there are consequences to you staying in abusive situations. There are consequences to it, and what you won't realize is like that abuse will impact you negatively. Like that abuse is hindering your creativity. Like that abuse is suppressing your self-esteem. It's suppressing your gift. It's weighing you down. It's pushing you into a place of depression. It's pushing you into a place of resentment. And listen, when you're operating in that energy, you won't be able to flow in the God given you. Like God didn't create you to flow with all that depression on you. He didn't create you to flow and be creative and pour back into the world and bring your gift to the world when you're in a mindset of depression, when you feel like you're defeated. No, God didn't create you that way. He created you to be free. He created you to be power. He created you to multiply. He created you to be fruitful. He created you to do things that are groundbreaking. He created you to help open doors. He created you to help other people. He created you to do certain things and to bless certain people. He didn't create you to walk around defeated. Nope, that's not the divine plan. The divine plan is not for you to walk around here defeated. But again, like welcome to my live. I'm here on TikTok, Ferg Knowledge 416, on YouTube, Lion Roar Ferg. Check me out. Check out my videos. Check out my content. Follow me. I'm on YouTube. Like and subscribe. I got some stuff for you. I got some game for you. Also on YouTube, my Meet the Fergusons page. That's a part of this. That's a part of my journey. Me and my wife, we met back in 2020. We've been married for 4 years now, going on 5 years. Been together for 5 years. Like our journey into marriage, it was a quick journey, and it's related to what I went through here. And it's a manifesto of just some of the things that I went through. It's a result of me doing the work. And let me tell you something, like on that page, we talk about that journey. Like it was a very intense journey, just us getting together, us getting married, even where we are today. And I'm sure it's people and haters and some of the people I dealt with, they didn't think it was gonna last that long. But let me tell you something, it's lasting, and this is the happiest I've ever been. But again, check out my pages, man. Check out my content. It's gonna bless you. It's gonna help you. It's gonna enrichen you. It's gonna strengthen you. Because guess what? Iron sharpens iron. And that's why sometimes we gotta identify and connect with the right people. You know what I'm saying? So that it can strengthen us. It can make us better. Sometimes we in a circle with people that ain't our circle. Like some of them people, The circles you rolling in, they can't help you. They can't pour into you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't need money. We don't even need a man or a woman. Sometimes you just need an impartation of something. Sometimes it's about that impartation, because that impartation is going to add something to you that's going to strengthen you, that's going to put you in a posture where you can actually receive or get what you're looking for. Because sometimes what we're looking for is not on the outside, but it's something inside of us that has to manifest in order for us to come into the thing. And again, that not to get off topic, but that's what my marriage was about. It wasn't about me meeting her. It was about me doing the work, right? It was about me doing the work and aligning myself to prepare for her to come into my life. And let me tell you something, if you start preparing, if you start doing the work, oh, you're going to see results. Let me tell you something. I just lost close to 80 pounds. You do the work, you're going to see the results. But again, happy Mother's Day. But jumping back on my topic, because listen, I'm at war. This is war. I have declared war on that narcissistic demon. I have declared war on people in cycles of abuse. Why? Because folks like that, people like that, you don't realize, but you walking around, but you're a straight up slave, bro. USA, you are crazy. Yeah, you a straight up slave. You become a slave, and I realized that in my journey and what I went through. I'm like, man, at the end of the day, like I was a slave to something. I was a slave, and sometimes some of us don't realize it, but we become slaves to certain things. And guess what? Let me jump to the scripture right quick. I don't want to be all religious. And let me tell you something. Like I just I am a ordained pastor. You know, I've been in ministry, but I left the public ministry, because just my views and my spirituality didn't align with certain things. So, I decided to be independent. And I also realized like church is not within four walls. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story. But let me take you to the scripture, because I like to use the scripture to give me context, to give me point of reference, to because it's a lot of what's written in the scripture will come to life with you. It will give you perspective on things. It will give you teaching. It will give you insight, even into the spirituality of certain things, you know what I'm saying? And of certain people and of certain situations. So check this, check game. Let me drop this. Let me drop this nugget on you. I'm gonna drop this nugget on you. So we gonna go to Second Peter chapter 19, right? So I'm gonna drop this scripture on you. Be hurting bad. What should I do? Well, I don't know, brother. I'm not a doctor. I'm gonna tell you like my grandma used to tell me. I'm gonna tell you what my grandma used to tell me for everything. She say, "Go run it out." that was my grandma's solution, brother. She'd be like, "Go run it out." Like my grandma was like a 4 foot tall militant lady. She would tell you, "Run it out." But anyway, back on topic. So Second Peter 2:19, it say this. It says they promise freedom, but they themselves are slaves to sin and corruption. For you are a slave to whatever controls you. Oh shoot. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's chop that up, right? We become slaves to whatever controls us. No, matter of fact, let's backtrack a little bit. Let's backpedal, right? So before that is in Second Peter 2:19 is telling us they promise freedom, but they themselves are slave to sin and corruption. And when I started reading through that scripture, it made me think about like, just narcissism and narcissistic abuse cycles. And let me tell you, as I just was kind of reading through my notes, and I looked up like the cycle of narcissistic abuse. And part of the cycle of narcissistic abuse starts with ideation, right? So the person, the narcissistic abuser, like they start feeding you ideations of things that you want, of the person that they perceive and believe that you want to have, or that you think is their dream person, or soulmate. Like, they idolize these things to you. They feed you all these ideations of what they think you need or what they think you want, or in other words, they call it like love bombing, right? That's one phase of the cycle. Like, the next phase of the cycle is devaluation. So narcissists will start to, after they've idolized you, they'll start to devalue you. So that's the second phase of dealing with a narcissist. So they give you ideations of things, they get you hyped up, they sell you dreams, they love bomb you, they tell you what you love. Like, and listen, my wife said this. She was like, I realized through the years, like, every time I meet a guy, I tell him what I want. And a lot of these narcissistic dudes, that's what they want to hear. So the minute you start giving them information, they gonna become what you're looking for. Listen, I don't want nobody that's going to become what I'm looking for. I want people that are their authentic and genuine self, Miss Lovely. That's what I'm looking for. Be your authentic, genuine self. But that's what the narcissists do. Like, they become something because they're trying to win you. They're trying to gain power and control over you. Maybe you probably never thought of it that way. But yeah, they're trying to get power over you, because really what they want you to surrender your power. They want you to surrender your love. They want you to let your guard down. They want to mimic our love. They want to try to invoke you to fall in love with them. They want to try to invoke you to think that, like, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread by feeding you ideations. They're not giving you love. They're feeding you ideations of something. They're feeding you the deceit of something. Like, they've dressed themselves up. They've curved and curtailed their behavior because they know you love flowers. Listen, they know you like apple pie. You know what I'm saying? They know you like steak, so they gonna give you what you want in those phases. They gonna feed you. They gonna love you. Like, listen, if you like a lot of intimacy, they gonna be very intimate with you. Right? They're gonna take the extra mile to make sure that you fall in love with them, or that you buy into the ideations of what they're feeding you. They're going to go the extra mile. Listen, when I first met my narcissist, like, they would cook for me every day. Like, when I would tell them the things that hurt me the most, they would put on a mask and act like they loved me so much, like they was ministering to all my hurt and all of my wounds. And, they act like they were there to save me. Yeah, he also gives you what you want to hear. The devil that's right, James, the devil gonna give you whatever you want to hear. And that's why, listen, people, we got to be in a place where, or I'm in a place right now on my journey, like, it's not what you tell me. Because being a narcissistic abuse survivor, I don't care what you tell me, it's what you show me. Like, I'm at the point right now, like, listen, if you tell me something, I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna listen. But you gotta show me with your fruit. Like, and listen, we all gotta get into a place on our journey where, and I heard my boss say this one time. He said, listen, trust but verify. So listen, if you tell me that you love me, I'ma trust that you say that you love me. But baby, I gotta verify it with your actions. You know what I'm saying? I gotta measure your fruit. I gotta put your fruit on a scale. And it's not that I'm paranoid. It's not that I'm so hurt. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, you gotta be cautious. You gotta guard your heart. You gotta guard your heart, because the disastrous things happen when we open up our hearts to the wrong people. And listen, if you 9 times out of 10, if you've dealt with a narcissist and you've survived that type of abuse, you are probably an empathetical type of person that loves to love and that will open your heart. And you got to be careful. So if you know you have those tendencies to be loving, so you have to be the one to guard your heart. You have to guard your heart, because if you don't guard your heart, You're going to subject yourself to trauma. You're going to subject yourself to pain. And listen, I say this all the time. You fool me one time, shame on you. You fool me 2 times, shame on me. And sometimes we fall into the same cycle of abuse because we have not identified and recognized that really, even though we're victims of someone or something, that the problem lies within not us, but how we move, how we strategize, and how we think, and how we perceive, and how we flow through the universe. So we've got to learn how to change our vibration. We got to change how we flow and move through the universe. Yeah, so listen, you're not the problem. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. The problem is with your strategy. Your empathetic strategy needs to be altered so you can become a woke person. And listen, not a bitter person, not an angry person, because listen, if you're bitter or angry, you're not going to be healed. And 9 times out of 10, when you're bitter and you're angry and you're resentful, you're not going to go through the healing process to come out on the other side and get to a place where you can heal completely. And now you can recognize that behavior. So what'll happen is, if you don't become healed, you'll continue to be hurt. You'll continue to go through those cycles, and you'll be tired and frustrated. And there's a high likelihood that you'll fall into the same cycle and trap. And that's what happens with a lot of us. We become frustrated, we become hurt. And because we don't go through the healing process, because we don't wake up, because we don't do the work, because we don't identify and recognize the problem, which is in our approach and strategy, we become frustrated, we become angry, and really it puts us in a place where we become vulnerable. And we end up with the same type of person in same situation. So we've got to tell people that are victims of this that it's time to stand up. It's time to do the work. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take you recognizing that how you move is wrong. Listen, and let me tell you something. Sometimes change is hard. Sometimes, change is not easy. Change is like a fight. Hello, Pamela. Hello, Pamela. Welcome to my live. I'm just here on our TikTok and YouTube chopping it up. But we just talking about the journey, talking about narcissistic abuse. But again, that's that first phase of the narcissistic abuse cycle. What's the first phase we just talked about? Which was idealization. Like they gonna sell you those ideations. And so the next phase is, guess what? Devaluation. They gonna start devaluing you. And listen, like in the beginning, you was on their team, James. Hello, Austin. Good to see you. Welcome to my live. But listen, in the beginning, you was on the A team, like that was your soulmate. You were inseparable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's y'all was the best thing since sliced bread. Then all of a sudden, once you surrendered that power, like and see, you didn't even realize, because they distracted you with all that love bombing. You didn't realize when they were love bombing you and distracting you that you surrendered a power to them. You surrendered power to them by opening up and giving them a pass when they weren't worthy. They weren't genuine. They were playing a role. They deceived you. They came as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like they said all the right things. They made you feel good. And listen, they trauma bonded with you. And listen, let me tell you something, like even being a survivor of narcissistic abuse, like that trauma bond is real. And a lot of times, like survivors will even feel obligated, even after that narcissist has dogged them out, abused them, threw them under the bus, tried to kill them, tried to get them locked up. You'll still have feelings of what you perceive as love with them. Why? Because that abuse that they subjected you to is a form of spiritual slavery, and it manifests in the realm of trauma bond. Some of us are trauma bonded to things, and you probably trauma bonded to your narcissist because of the false signals and the deception that they sold into your brain, the ideations that they sold into your brain that caused chemical reaction that made you connect with them. Listen, it happened to me. I'm gonna tell you where my trauma bond was established with my narcissist. We met in church, and listen, I was a minister in church. I was an ordained preacher in church, so that was a part of the trauma bond. But that's what narcissists do. Like they study your behavior, they study your reactions, they study your emotions, and that's how they have so much power over you. Why? Because you're a real and genuine person. You really love people. You didn't get with them because you could get something out of them. Listen, you didn't pursue them because it was something to gain in the situation. You didn't calculate what they had. You didn't calculate what you could get out of them. You got with them because you wanted to give them true love, because that's what humans do. Listen, that's what people do. That's what godly people do. That's what we do as humans. We share love. We give love. But those people are reprobated in their mind, Miss Lovely. They don't care about love. They care about physical things. They care about their image. They care about getting status. They care about financial support. They don't care about the heart. They don't care about the love. They're incapable of empathy. They're incapable of actually feeling love. Yeah, because why? He's obsessed with his image, because everything is all about their image. Let me tell you something. If you want a narcissist to go crazy, start threatening their image. Start doing things, but listen, it's dangerous, because if you do that to a narcissist, they gonna go into narcissistic rage and declare war on you. But let me tell you something, James, on YouTube. If you want to see a narcissist go bananas, start fighting against their image. But see, that those are strategies and tactics that they do. They smear campaign you. That's what she did to you, James. That's what they did to you, James. They smear campaigned you. They went around to other people saying, "Hey, man, hey, James ain't no good. He's not a good person." That's what they do. They smear campaign you. But guess what? On the flip side, James, you as an empathetical person, you don't have that type of energy to go and knock them down because you really love them. Oh shoot. But guess what, James? The bad part is that we gave power to that narcissist when we didn't do the work and got healed and came to a place where we recognize who people like that were. So we really are the problem, James. We are the problem because we didn't learn how to move and strategize in the universe. So there was a problem with our strategy. There was a problem with the strategy, Miss Lovely. And listen, he literally tries to argue. Oh, they gonna argue with you all day. And let me tell you something, Miss Lovely. Hello, Vincent. Welcome to my live. Let me tell you something, Miss Lovely. You can argue with a narcissist all day. You can argue with them till you blue in the face. Only way they gonna give a little bit is if they trying to get something out of the situation. It is a waste of time. Do not listen. Don't argue with a narcissist because they are incapable of changing their mindset. Like they're not gonna change their mindset. Like they're not. Only reason they're gonna change is if they have something to gain. Let me tell you something. What do you think of gang stalking? Gang stalking narcissists, man. Listen, man, narcissists come in many different forms, many different flavors. Let me tell you something, James. Like what woke me up and scared me one time, James, is when I realized, like, even in church, you got some people that sit in leadership in church and ministries and religion are some of the biggest narcissists I know. So some of those people are the biggest narcissists I know. And let me tell you something, it scared me. And that's why for a long time I left church. Because I was like, wow, like this person is over here talking about they love God and they're ordained into ministry and God has called them to lead people, and they're straight snakes. And like when I started seeing who they are, and listen, I understand that we as humans, nobody is perfect. But what I started seeing in the church and in ministry, like it took me to a place like for years I would not go to church. I wouldn't, because I started seeing the truth. But again, I wasn't healed. So now I'm healed. I mean, I can go to church, but I know what to look for. But again, that hurt me. And listen, you say you've been gang stalked, like it's stuff. People will prey on you. People will do evil stuff in the name of themselves. Like they will worship their own bellies, Miss Lovely. They will go after their own self and sacrifice you. They'll sacrifice you in their plot to get what they want. And that's why we have to be awoke. That's why we have to know how to pick our friends. That's why we have to know how to be watchful. We have to know how to heal. We have to recognize who we are and how valuable we are, Miss Lovely, in order for us to navigate this journey properly. And I realized, James, like through all the hurt and everything that I went through, that I met this woman in church, in ministry, amongst church people, but she had a hidden agenda that took about 12 years to come to the surface. So let me tell you something. After 12 years, but guess what, James? The writing was all over the wall. The writing was all over the wall. Like I couldn't be mad with God. I was mad with myself. But again, I realized that I had work to do. That I was so vulnerable because I wanted to please God by getting married so bad. And that made me vulnerable. And listen, there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want. But listen, you got to understand the impact and implications of what you want, what you're trying to get to, and how you need to strategize and move. Again, I had a bad strategy. I was young. I was in church. I wanted to be a preacher. I wanted this. I wanted that. And it messed my life up. It threw me off. Like I wasted 12 years of my life, and it was so hurtful because after 12 years the person was like, and it's almost like they was saying like, I didn't tell you directly, but I was showing you. Why? Because they took me through that abuse cycle. And I was like, wow, I wasted 12 years. But again, I became a slave to it. Why? Because I was involved in religious practices. And listen, but I also had to wake up too and realize that, hey, that my religious practices wasn't working. I had to use wisdom and stick to my spirituality. And that's why I broke away from church. That's why I became independent, because I realized like, wow, narcissism is a real thing. And it's a real thing, James, when you go through it and you hurt through it. Like it's to me, it's like it's a disease. It's something, dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with a very sick person that can't be healed. But the bad part is that people like me and you, Miss Lovely, who go through it, we are the biggest victims. We suffer from this thing. And listen, my whole world and perspective have changed since I dealt with the narcissist. And before I used to judge people, like people that are on death row, people that have killed people, and I'm like, man, well, I don't know if that person was dealing with a narcissist, because like the narcissist that I dealt with was pushing me to a place where I was on edge and like I was mentally losing it. But that's what they do. Like they push you to that place. They make you feel like you're crazy. Like they're gonna make you think like you're crazy. But at the time, I didn't know that. But listen, I could have been sitting in a prison somewhere because I was dealing with an abuser. And guess what? Why was I dealing with an abuser? Because I had a bad strategy to navigate the universe. So listen, that's why I'm here, because I want to tell people, listen, there's nothing wrong with you. Like you human. You gonna make mistakes. You gonna love. But change your strategy for navigating the universe. And that's what we're doing. We're finding strategies to navigate the universe where we won't be subjected to this. And let me tell you something, like I lost so much. When I dealt with the narcissist, like I lost business, lost home. It was so much fallout. And I went through about 2 to 3 years of just straight depression. I was depressed. And I slipped into alcoholism. And listen, I don't want nobody to go down that path. And listen, if I knew about this stuff beforehand, if I had somebody to help me through it, like I don't think I would have been, subjecting myself to alcohol. I would have shifted faster into my healing journey. And let me tell you something, James. Like when you get into that part of your healing journey, like it's you realize like, listen, you're worth more than that. And that's what happened in my second marriage. I learned what to look for. I changed my strategy in navigating in the universe. But because when I met the narcissist, I was looking for the Coke bottle shape. I was looking for all physical things. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it because listen, we want what we want. But I had to learn, I had to change my strategy in navigating the universe that I couldn't put everything physical first. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was a covert, Miss Lovely. She was a straight covert. And let me tell you something, she had everybody fooled. She had everybody deceived. But listen, that's what covert narcissists do. You won't know who they are on the surface. And listen, people will praise them, people will love them, people will think that they're harmless, people will think that they're saviors, people will think that they're heroes. But Miss Lovely, it's all a mask that they put on. It's all a show that they put on because they want to project the image of something. That's right, James. It's the image. They were giving you the image of something. And especially you as their victim, Miss Lovely. Oh, that mask gonna come off. Let me tell you something. That mask on that narcissist is going to come off because that's the cycle they take you through. Listen, they take you through that cycle of ideation. They take you to, then it's devaluing. They gonna devalue you. You ain't worth nothing. You can't never do nothing right. You're always the problem. Let me tell you something about relationshiping. Listen, if you can't sit down with your partner and mutually work things out, and you both don't take accountability for the situations in your relationship, you really need to start digging a little bit deeper. Because why a narcissist are not going to take accountability. They're going to push the blame on everybody else. The only reason they'll act like they're taking accountability is because they're trying to get you to buy into something. They want you to buy something. They want you to buy into something, but it's not genuine and it'll never get fixed. And I realized that dealing with a narcissist for 12 years, that listen, that I was always the problem. It was never any accountability, Miss Lovely. Yeah, they'll never take accountability and you'll feel like you're going crazy. No, it's not you. You're not crazy. And see, that's part of the problem. And that's part of the reason why Deacon, hello, Deacon. Wow, 27 years. Whoa. And see, that's the part of the problem right there, Deacon. They're making you feel like you crazy, and they're distracting you from actually meeting that person that will actually pour real love into you. So it's like I wasted so many years. And I'm like, man, I wasted those 12 years with this person who never really loved me. And can you believe at the end of it all, they says like, I was never in love with you. And I said to myself, I'm like, wow, why you didn't tell me that from the beginning? Exactly, Miss Lovely. It's like talking to a brick wall. You'll never get anywhere. And the best thing you could do is, if you can't physically get away from them, is you gotta turn off your emotions. And see that's another, good morning, Ava. That's another thing you got to learn how to empower yourself with, to take back your power, is you got to learn how to have emotional intelligence. You got to learn sometimes, James, that you got to learn how to turn off your emotions. And for some of y'all, that feel like it's next to impossible. But listen, let me tell you something. If you don't learn to turn off your emotions with certain people, they going to continue to have power over you. That's some real stuff right there, Ava. If you don't know how to turn off your emotions with certain people that are toxic, they gonna continue to have power over you. They gonna continue to make you angry. They gonna continue to make you reactive. They gonna continue to make you miserable. Baby, let me tell you something. The most powerful thing you can do to defeat a narcissist at your job, in your house, in your family, is take your emotional meter when it comes to them and shut that sucker off. And I bet you right there, they ain't got no more power because they already know what they doing to you. They already manipulating you. Listen, that man who keep lying to you and cheating on you, listen, he know how to get you back. He know how to get you back in the right mind frame. He starts sweet talking you. He start telling you, you know what I'm saying, those lies. Hello, virtuous sinner. He start sweet talking you and telling you those lies. And listen, so what those lies do is they come into your ear and they start triggering things. Listen, triggers aren't just bad things. Triggers can be good things. And narcissists, like, because they demonic, because they move in witchcraft and sorcery and emotions. Thank you. You got a shiny head. Because they move in those type of things, they know how to activate your emotions. They'll play on your emotions. Let me tell you something. Emotions is a powerful thing. Like, I done bought stuff because people they had a really good video. They had really good content. And I jumped up and I ordered it. That happened to me Friday on Amazon. Like I like to read through all of the like the news articles, and I saw an article about some headphones. And because the presentation was so good, I didn't even realize. I'm like, oh, let me hurry up and go buy it. Why? Because they played on my emotions. And let me tell you how it got me with, how they got me to buy that product. They started putting the specs and the numbers out. And me, I'm a numbers guy. And that's what the narcissists do to you guys. They start playing on those emotions. He says, I'm a chatterbox. I talk. Oh, they gonna say all type of crazy stuff to you. And let me tell you something that they love to do. They know what makes you tick. They know how to play on your emotions. They probably spent more time figuring you out emotionally than anything else. Because that's what it was. It was about trying to get you to succumb to their ideations by manipulating you, Miss Lovely, by lying to you, by putting on a mask and acting like there's something. But listen, that's not who they really were. That's not who they really were. Like they were, you're talking too much. How much do I have to pay you to oil up? But yeah, that's not who they really were. And again, you gonna have to learn how to turn off that emotional switch. Like it's hard for empathetic people. Why have the piano keys upside down like that? Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult for a lot of you. It's difficult because you're empathetic. You know what I'm saying? Like you probably struggle, you know what I'm saying, in a place of emotional intelligence. Why? Because like you got to change your strategy of how you move through the universe. But again, returning back to the topic, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what narcissists do. They take you through this phase of ideation, feeding you these lies. They devalue you, then they discard you. They discard you, man. They throw you away. But listen, that's what the book of Peter tells us. It says, they promise freedom while they themselves are slaves. So you got somebody that's a slave to their hurt and pain that's coming trying to give you free. No. And that's why you got to be woke, man. That's why you got to have your eyes open. That's why you got to have the right perspective. You got to know how to navigate through the universe. You got to change your strategy. You got to change your approach. Like it's all about your approach. Don't think it's nothing wrong with you. Don't think you're less than. And listen, those are some of the things that have happened because as a result of you subjecting yourself and giving up your power to that abuser. Oh, you gave up your power. Listen, you may not see it in that light, but that's really what you did. When you allowed them to come in, when you came into agreement with them, You relinquish that power. And that's why you feel so miserable. That's why you feel so hurt, because you gave up that power. And listen, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. But there's something wrong when you continue to make the same mistakes. When you continue to find yourself in the same cycle, something is wrong. And if you find yourself in that cycle, there's nothing wrong with the people. The problem is your approach. Listen, there's nothing wrong with you. It's your approach, it's your strategy, and you have got to change some things. And let me tell you something. When I changed my approach, when I realized the error of my ways, like that's when happiness came. That's when I met Miss Soulmate. That's when I met the one that made me happy, when I changed how I navigated through the universe. So when I met my wife, I realized, like, listen, you listen, I love beautiful women, and my wife is a beautiful woman. But what I was looking for first was character. So I changed my approach. Before, I was like, oh, I want a woman with I had a whole laundry list. And baby, I threw that laundry list out the door. Why? Because I realized, like, I want character. You gotta listen, nothing ain't going, no relationship ain't gonna be able to sustain if that person don't have no character. And I realized the type of people that I was hooking up with and connecting with did not have character. So that was one of my first personal strategies that I learned how to navigate through the universe. Was that, hey, as I'm looking for a mate, as I'm looking for friendship, as I'm looking for partnership, I am putting character on a scale. I'm scaling for character. And listen, dealing with a narcissist, that it changed my whole perspective. So when I engage with friends, connection, business, I'm looking for character. Before, I was looking for physical things. Now the first thing I look for is character. I'm weighing character. I'm weighing your character. I'm weighing your fruit. Why? Because that's my strategy. Because I know if you have character, not that you won't turn on me, that it's a strong likelihood that you're gonna move different. You're gonna share the same mindset. You're gonna share the same perspective. Because let me tell you something. What happens is when you subject yourself to that slavery and that cycle of abuse, like, it creates trauma bond. It creates erosion of your self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? It puts you in a place of compromise, and you can't become healed. You won't. And let me tell you something, like, I suffered 4 years in my mom's garage. Like, all of the negative thoughts, all of the depression. Like, I really thought, like, wow, like, here I am. Like, after subjecting myself to 12 years with someone, building a life, building a family, building business, building a career, like, building so many things. After subjecting myself to that for 12 years, here I am, in my mom's garage, about to hitting 40 years old, in a midlife crisis. And, like, I felt like my life was over. Let me tell you something. It's never too late. Don't ever think that it ain't too late to rebuild. Don't ever think that time is against you. As long as you got breath inside of you, as long as you got life inside of you, you can do it. You can make it. You just have had the wrong people in your corner. You just have wasted too much time on demonic, narcissistic people that aren't for you, that don't want to see you win. And again, you're not the problem. The problem is your strategy. But again, you gotta be woke to this. You gotta take back your power. You gotta learn how to turn off those emotions to those people, because they're playing on your emotions. That's what they do. They play on your emotions. And I even realized, even after being separated from the narcissist for years, like, this person knew how to stir me up. Hello, my man. What do you do for a living? Me, for a living, I'm a manager. But again, beloved, these people, they know your emotions. They listen. And 9 times out of 10, if you on here, if you paying attention to narcissists, you probably have noticed patterns and cycles of something. Like, you noticed the cycle. And that's how I became awoke to it. Like, I started seeing patterns of certain things. I started seeing patterns of behavior. I started seeing lies and deceit manifesting. And I start asking myself, like, man, what am I really dealing with? What's really going on here? Who is this person? And I started doing research, and I finally realized that I was dealing with a narcissist. I realized it. But again, through my journey, I realized that, hey, I got to do the work. I got to do the work. There's some things that I got to change. Why? And listen, at one point, I was angry with God. I was like, God, why would you allow me to be? No, listen, let me tell you something that I learned. And this on some spiritual stuff. Like, listen, you have control over a lot of things. Talking about breath, the creator's name removed from his own book. You have control over a lot of things. You have the power over it. And I realized, guess what? I surrendered my power because I didn't do the work. Like, and that's why you got to be healed. You got to be whole. You got to be woke. You got to have insight. You got to have understanding. And listen, you got to take your journey seriously. You have to take your life seriously. You can't just bump along on this road. Like, you got to have a strategy to move through life. You got to have a strategy to move through the universe. And I believe when you have a strategy, like, that's when the Most High, that's when he'll come and bless you. That's when he'll come and release things to you. But when you out of order and you move in any kind of way, like, it's not going to connect with you. It's not going to release for you. The oil is not going to flow in your life. It's not going to flow on your journey because you are not moving with intention, because he moves with intention. There's purpose and intention behind what he has you doing. And if you're wavering, if you're like a ship in the sea that's listing back and forth, that don't know where you're going, that don't know what the vision is, that don't know what the gift and the value that you carry, the oil ain't gonna release. But I realized something. When you start to wake up, when you start realizing who you are, when you start realizing that you were created for purpose, when you start realizing that you do have value, when you start realizing that you do have power, listen, he starts allowing the oil to flow. And that's why you got to be healed. Listen, you can't stay chained to that slavery. You can't stay chained to those demons. You can't stay chained to that abuse. You can't stay chained to that family and to those parents that treat you that way, to that husband that treats you that way. It's time to take back your power. And I realized something. When I took back the power from the narcissist, I had to turn off my emotions toward them. I had to turn off my feelings. I had to change my mind about some things. I had to accept the fact that I had made some mistakes. But listen, we become slaves to what masters us. And I realized that narcissist had enslaved me. Why? Because I was enslaved to religion. Because I was like, oh my God, I don't want no divorce. I don't want this. I don't want. Guess what? That narcissist knew that from the beginning. They calculated that. They was like, oh, this man in church, he in religion, he a man of God. Oh, this an easy one. That's just how them jokers strategize. And you, on the other hand, you thinking you gonna love them in the long run. You think you gonna love them for life. But they start causing problems to they systematically cause drama. Latish Moore, welcome. They systematically cause this drama on purpose. Listen, they're psychological, and spiritual, and emotional monsters. And you done spent too much time trying to figure them out. And that was one of your biggest mistakes. You over here trying to figure them out. You will never figure them out. You got to figure you out. They don't confuse you. They don't pulled you away from yourself. They don't pulled you away from what you love. They making you think that you crazy. And now, Latish, you got to deal with all that bad energy. Now you depressed, you angry, you calling your friends, you doing all kind of stuff. Like you out of pocket right now. They got you out of pocket. They'll get you out of pocket. They'll get you straight out of pocket. But listen, like, you, again, it's nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong with us. But we got to change our strategy to navigate the universe. Like, listen, change your strategy. Learn who to turn your emotions on and off to. And I had to learn that dealing with a narcissist. I had to learn that, hey, some people, when you start showing me signs, I can't give you those emotions. I can't give you that access because I gotta guard my heart. So listen, it's not that I'm being nasty. It's not that I'm paranoid. It's just, hey, until I know who you are, until I really know your fruit, I gotta guard my heart. And listen, when you show me your fruit, when you show me your character, then I can open the door. And see, the problem with a lot of us, we struggle because we've been through some things and we have a tendency and a propensity to be loving. Some of you are just so loving, like you can love people no matter what. And guess what? They knew that because they smelled and sensed that energy on you. They sensed that you were a loving and accepting person. They sensed who you were. They knew who you were. And like vampires, they came for you, Latish, to suck the life out of you because they wanted something. They wanted status. They wanted your money. They wanted your security. They didn't even really want you. They didn't want you. They didn't really want you. They wanted money. They wanted security. They wanted something for themselves. They didn't really want you. They didn't want you. They didn't love you. It wasn't about you. It was not about you. It was about themselves. It was about themselves. But listen, but the God knew that he knew you was gonna deal with it. But listen, but he can't make you come out of it. You got to make a choice to get out of it. You got to make an active choice to take back your power. Listen, you got to make an active choice to recognize and identify what's good and what's evil. You got to make an active choice and decision and stop feeling sorry and stop thinking about the implications. Stop thinking about who gonna look at you the wrong way. Blessings from Canada. Blessings, Sheldon. Stop thinking about what people gonna say. Listen, let me tell you something. You don't even realize they already done told 100 people that you ain't nobody, Latish. They already done told a bunch of people you ain't no good. They already been talking bad about you. You probably don't even realize it. Why? Because a lot of empathetic people, you ain't messy like that. You don't do stuff like that. You don't move like that. They know that, and they calculated all of that when they were vetting you, when they had you in a stage of ideation and they was feeding you all this stuff. In their mind, they was like, you were just like the cartoon. Like in their mind, you was a big old lollipop. And they was like, oh, this sucker. Why? Because that's how they move. They don't think about love. But you thought about love. They deceived you and made you think that their mindset was on love. It wasn't on love. They can't love people. Why? Because they can't even love themselves. How can you love me when you don't love yourself? Like you gotta love yourself first. You gotta know how to love yourself first. And listen, these people, they don't love themselves. Listen, they loved and they lust after material stuff, after vanities, after the image of something. Listen, some of these narcissists want to be praised by other people. They want to be put on a pedestal. Listen, they want a congregation to bow down to them and give them power. Listen, some people they want sexual rewards. I've seen people will manipulate for sexual reasons, for financial reasons. Listen, when you're engaging with someone, it ought to be about genuineness. It ought to be about, listen, not just transactions, but transformations, things that help us become greater. Like our relations can't be transactional all the time. Like they have to be transformational. Like, listen, stop getting in transactional situations and relationships and get in transformational relationships. Get around people that want more for themselves and want more for you. Listen, we as empathetic people, we tend to be attracted to people we gotta help and fix. Listen, that's okay. It's okay, Letice, to try to help people. Listen, God gave that gift to you, but you got to know how to manage it, Letice. God, listen, Letice, God gave you the power to love people. Listen, you're very loving. You're very giving. You know how to work out people problems. You know how to help people. You know how to pick people up. But listen, who's coming to your rescue? Who's coming to pour into you? So listen, why God has blessed and gifted you to do that, Latish. Like, you also need to be poured into. You also, people need to come pour into you. Listen, we gotta have people around us that are pouring into us. These type of people, they only come to suck life out of you. No, baby, no more transactional. But listen, we're looking for transformational. Listen, how can you help me get to the next level? How can we help each other? How can we pour into each other? Because why iron sharpens iron and deep calleth unto deep. But listen, a lot of times, because we're looking for certain things in that moment, we compromise. We compromise and we open the door and we open the portal in the realm to something that comes to destroy us, that comes to pull us down, that comes to weigh us down. But we're not looking for that because we're healed. We're not opening that portal anymore because we're healed, but we're looking for something that is going to bless us, that is going to help us, that is going to make us get stronger, that is going to make us get better. Let me tell you something. It's a problem because all these people that are calling you with drama. When the last time you had friends that call you and say, hey, what about this business venture? Or hey, let's do this because it's going to benefit us. When they call you, they probably talking about drama. When they call you, they talking about what somebody did. When they call you, they talking about the latest gossip. Listen, we gotta better position ourselves. If we want the Most High to bless us, we gotta position ourselves. Like, that's a part of our faith. You gotta position yourself. I realize if you don't position yourself, it ain't gonna happen. You're gonna continue to be in a cycle, and you're gonna continue to be a slave to something. And listen, I don't want to be a slave to nothing. And that's what I had to realize in that bad marriage. I'm like, I was a slave to an ideology of church and religion. I was a slave. And the writing was all over the wall. The obvious was right there the whole time. But because I was enslaved to something, I was enslaved to it. But again, listen, it's nothing wrong with you. Listen, it's nothing wrong with you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, you have a gift, you have an anointing. Like, God has empowered you to do certain things. Like, He's gifted you to do certain things. Like, you got some oil for certain stuff. But listen, that oil ain't gonna be revealed if you don't posture yourself in the right place, if you don't do the work. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. It's no way around it. And let me tell you something. It may seem hard. It may seem like sacrifice. And let me tell you something. I spent 4 years in my mom's garage alone. Listen, 4 whole years. And it was the roughest thing. But in that 4 years, I realized, like, I got to do the work. I got to work on myself. I got to work on me. I got to get better. Listen, I got to wake up. I got to get healed. You know what I'm saying? I got to get healed. And let me tell you something. When I start submitting to the process, when I submitted myself to God's process for healing, like, that's when the blessings start manifesting. So I can tell you, back during that time, I lost my home, right? And so guess what? I'm back in 2025. Like, God has restored me. Why? Because I position myself. And listen, you can holler God, God all day, but you gotta have faith and do the work. You better have faith and do the work. If you just over here complaining and talking about it and not doing the work, ain't nothing gonna manifest. Why? Because faith without works is dead. Like, you got to do the work. You got to work on yourself. You got to work on certain things about your life. And you talk about you want to meet Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. You got to work on yourself. Like, why is he going to bless you with somebody and you still got tendencies and trauma bond inside of you? You still trauma bonded to your abuser. And you like, oh, God bless me with a man. How he gonna bless you with a man when you already got a decoy and a demon that's living in your heart? You ain't been stripped, cleansed, and healed of that demon. And listen, how God gonna send you an angel and a demon living in there? And that's what these narcissists do sometimes. Like because because of all the manipulation, we've trauma bonded with them. And guess what? That trauma bond is causing you to hold them in your heart. And really, as much as you even physically want to let go, mentally and spiritually, you cannot let them go. And baby, if you holding on to that demon, how is God gonna bless you with what's anointed? When you holding on to that demon, listen, how God gonna bless you with something deeper and something better, and yet you holding on to something in your heart? Listen, that's biblical. It say that where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. We don't realize sometimes because we've surrendered that power that our treasure is there. Maybe some of y'all treasure is in these toxic people, and you gonna have to learn how to move different and divorce that toxic stuff and walk away from it because you're better than that. And I guarantee you, if you start the process, if you start walking away, that doors will open up. That right person you're looking for is going to come manifest. Let me tell you something. Go to my YouTube page, Meet the Fergusons. That person gonna manifest. He or she will manifest on your journey. That's some real talk, I'm telling you. Why? Because faith with works is power. Faith with works is power. And that's what I had to do. I had to start believing like, man, God, like this. I know you ain't called me to be single. I know you didn't cause me to be in a marriage that was based off of deceit for nothing. I know you didn't, but guess what? When I was declaring that out of my mouth, I had to work on healing me. I had to work on getting my life in order. I had to work on lining things up. I had to work on healing. I had to work on recognizing my abuser. I had to work on recognizing myself. I had to work on recognizing that, hey, it wasn't their fault, even though they initiated the abuse and the games. It wasn't my fault. But listen, but the fault was in my strategy and how I move. Again, beloved, I hope you enjoyed this live. You know me, I'm here every Sunday, 8 o'clock. Listen, I don't come on here in a suit like a preacher on Sunday, but baby, I'm going to give you some word. I'm going to give you some word to empower you. I'm going to give you some word to activate you. Come on, it's a time of activation. Sometimes we don't need money. We don't need friends. Sometimes you need to activate what's already inside of you. It just needs to be, your faith needs to be activated. It's dimensions of spirituality inside of you that need to be activated. And once they are activated, it will empower you to receive what you need that has already been put out in the universe by God Almighty himself. And the Messiah said it. He said, when he taught his disciples to pray, on earth as it is in heaven. Oh my goodness. On earth as it is in heaven. As it is in heaven cannot manifest for you on earth until you understand the divine plan. Let me back that thing up right there. Listen, on earth as it is in heaven will not activate until you come into alignment and understanding. That's what the Messiah was trying to tell his disciples. He say on earth, here where we live. And guess who's the prince of the earth? Oh, the evil one. He says on earth as it is in heaven. Oh, so you mean to tell me like a lot of my destiny, a lot of the stuff that I'm supposed to receive has already been written, has already been preordained, has already been pre-outlined? So what's the problem? The problem is, baby, you ain't come into alignment what was written in heaven. You haven't come into alignment with the divine scribes that have been released over your life or that are to be released over your life. You haven't come into that alignment. And so you walking around like a vagabond and a stranger. And that's not who you are. But baby, it's on earth as it is in heaven, baby. It's already been written. Listen, you've been predestined for certain things. You've been predestined for greatness. You've been predestined for power. It's already been written in heaven. But it ain't manifest on earth because your faith ain't bear witness yet. Hello, and forever Yanni. Hello, welcome to my live. But listen, but you because you haven't come into agreement and in alignment with what has already been written in the divine scribes. What has already been written. That's why the scripture tell you in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, it say the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of the Messiah. That it's the spirit of prophecy. He's trying to tell you that, listen, in spite of where you are in the now, that your faith is going to activate some things and your future is greater. Greater things are coming to you because that's what has been written in heaven and expected to be manifested on earth. Oh, expected to be manifested on earth. You got to sit in a place of expectation. Some of y'all, the way you move is almost like you expecting bad stuff. And it's time to change your mindset. Listen, you don't need a seminar. You don't need a packet. You don't need a book. You need to align yourself with God's plan. You need to submit yourself. You need to wake up. You need to put more value on yourself. You need to spend more time with the Most High. You listen, you need to spend more time around positivity. You need to spend your time doing different things, but you spend too much time in depression. You spend too much time in gossip. Listen, you need to spend time with things that are going to empower you. Our rest is knowing the end times are close. Yeah, I believe they are, man. And they trying to pull as many people in as they can with so many different agendas and so many different things that's going on. Like it's evil all around, man. And when you really look at the picture, it's just like all you see is evil, people operating in evil. But in spite of evil, listen, I want to operate in love. But listen, not just in love, but woke love. Because sometimes like we operate in love, but it become a weakness. No, listen, you got to have that woke love. You got to have that tough love. You got to hold people accountable. And let me tell you something. I'm so glad that you said that, Wayno. Like, listen, real love holds people accountable. Listen, and demons hate when you bring truth. Demons hate when you hold people accountable. Because guess what? You're causing light to come, right? When you hold me accountable, you're bringing light to situations that I may be falling into darkness. And that's one thing I learned about demons on my journey, that they love darkness. They love to hide. They love to be covert. They love evil. They love treachery. But listen, when we hold people accountable, when we have tough love, when we stand up for the right thing, listen, them evil spirits can't stand that. Listen, why? Because just like you said, Wayne, no, like I feel I really believe that the end time is coming. The end time is near. But listen, we living in the right now, and we gotta strategize and move through this universe and be positive. Listen, and have positive influence and have positive impact. It's enough negativity and evil going on around here. It's enough people loving themselves and loving their own belly and sacrificing people and killing people. We need positivity. But listen, guys, thank you for coming on my live. Like, listen, you can follow me on TikTok, Ferg Knowledge 416. Also here on YouTube, Line Roar Ferguson. Also go to check out me and my wife's YouTube page, Meet the Fergusons. That's our rendition of Married at First Sight. It's really good, some really good content, really good information, just trying to encourage people, trying to empower people. And listen, have people listen, take your power back. Listen, take your power back over evil. Whatever enslaved you, whatever took power over you, you have the power to take it back. I don't care if it was drugs. I don't care if it was sex. I don't care if it was alcohol. I don't care if it was religion. I don't care if it was your mama, your daddy. You have the power to take it back and change that thing. And listen, when you exercise that power to take it back, that's when God comes in and gives you more strength. But again, beloved, thank you again. And we'll catch you again. I'm on here every Sunday at 8 o'clock. And listen, I'm not sitting in the pulpit, in a church, but listen, I'm over here dropping these nuggets, dropping this knowledge. You all be blessed. And we'll catch you again next week, same time, same channel. Peace and love.